Hey everybody, old Captain here. Not a video request, something very important, and this will be becoming more prominent and prevalent in the future, in the news, because it is nature, it is technology, it is the way humans advance, and it will have an effect on pretty much everyone in the economy, and it's scary to some people. And the reason that I have Puerto Rican agent in the field, Mr. Ruiz. He sent this to me on Facebook, and since I respect Mr. Ruiz, I'm not that I don't respect other people, but if he was concerned about it, then I was kind of like, maybe I ought to address this in more detail, not just for my listenership, but for other people as well. And that is automated trucks, self-driving trucks. If you have heard in the news, they are testing the first, or not testing, it's actually being implemented, first self-driving semi-truck in Nevada, where I don't think it's on the highways. I had to read through. I knew it was coming up. I talked to another engineer, but basically through GPS we can get trucks to just drive and carry stuff. And now not only does that threaten to put a bunch of truck drivers out of business, but it's an example again of the automated economy, the roboticized economy, and everyone's worried that machines will replace humans. Robots will replace humans. And technically this has always been happening. It has always been the goal to have, beasts of burden become machines of burden. I mean, we could plow our own, but we replaced that with mules, and no one really complained. And then we had mules plowing, where have the oxen pulling the plow behind, and then we replaced it with tractors. Apparently no one could buy. So this has been going on, and the reason has largely been a good thing, or people view it as a good thing, because it sucks. Work sucks, right? But then there's a counter side to this. It's like, well, wait, yes, work sucks, but what if everything becomes automated? What if everything, then we won't have jobs. So how do we make our income? So this then gives rise to the call, what's called the basic guaranteed income. And hang on, I'm going to take another note. I forgot that. So they're saying, well, without jobs, if everything's automated, what does all of a sudden you obsolete 60, 70, 80% of the labor force, what are they supposed to do? So they say, well, let's give them a basic guaranteed income, otherwise they're going to starve. Well, I've already addressed it, but let me address it. I focused more on the concept of a roboticized industry, and not so much the basic income. I'm going to address it here again for my YouTube viewers, because I wrote a post and I found out that a lot of people don't realize that I have a blog, I have a podcast, I have other things going on. So if you want, I'll put the title below. It's called The Economics of the Roboticized Economy, so you can read that in more detail. But I'm going to take some pieces from that article and reiterate them here. Number one, let us address the concept of not having a job and the fears that come with that. You're going to say, we're not going to have income, we're not going to have jobs, how are we going to afford things? Well, here's the whole point and purpose of automating the economy, is that things get cheaper. And if you take away inflation and the collapse of currencies, things have got amazingly cheaper and amazingly better. It's just the nature of technology and human advancement. Cars are thrice, 10 times as good as when they first came out. Gas, I know gas goes like this, but if you look at what it used to cost for a gallon of gas, that was very high. Nearly everything has come down in real terms and real price. And that increases our standards of living. So what you're saying is, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be an accountant, I'm not going to be an engineer, I'm not going to be this, I'm not going to be that. How am I going to afford it? It's because when you take a human out of it and replace it with a robot that is 1/10 or 1/20th the cost, the prices of things come down as well. So your purchasing power goes up. In other words, there should be this deflationary effect in terms of real prices, and that you don't need to make $80,000 to have the same effective purchasing power. So if we automated everything in the economy, technically things would be darn near well free. I mean, we would approach that asymptotic curve if ever possible, but in streamlining, further automating, further roboticizing, further making things more efficient in the economy, prices drop, your purchasing power increases, and you don't need to make 80 grand a year to have that purchasing power. And if you look at it, it actually is a nicer thing. Like, okay, what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to go be a waiter. I'm just going to go and something else, I don't know, some low skill level, doesn't require education on that, because everything has been automated. And now I still, on this what in the olden days was presumed a low salary or a low wage job, I can now afford a very good standard of living. That's the whole point of economics. That's the whole point of roboticizing and mechanizing and automating economies. That is what you want, to have a easy job. We don't have to mine in the mines anymore. We have robots that do that. Military, another perfect thing. We don't have to go to the front lines to do it. We got drones that do that. You see, so you can see this in every aspect and facet of economics and human life, that it is an overall good thing. Now, though, the concern, though, is like, well, what if everything's automated? Well, not everything's going to be automated. And you say, well, I'm not going to have a job. There will always be jobs for you. The problem is that it's going to fall into two tiers. And I came up with... it's a chart, and please go to the website, the link that I post below, because it really does show you visually what's happening. As technology advances, you basically obsolete mid-level skilled type jobs. We'll always need tradesmen, there's no doubt about that. But it's going to slowly start to go away further and further and further more. Truck drivers being an example. And this basically sets up a two-tiered labor market. There are skilled and unskilled. And by skilled, I mean people who keep the roboticization or the robotic economy going. People who design the robots, design the machines, design the processes, design the assembly plants. People that fix, build, and repair and maintain these assembly plants. And then super skilled type people like surgeons, even pilots are going to be automated, I guess. I'm just trying to think of things where it's like, no, this is never going away. We really need these people. So they're the ones that build, maintain this mechanized economy. They're the ones that keep the machines running. Then there's the low skilled or no skilled group of people, and this is not a bad thing. You don't have to go to school. The economy, you get so efficient, you don't got to go to college for 4 or 5 years. You can get a low-skilled job and now afford these cheap goods that are coming from all the robot slaves. And you may say, well, I won't make that much money. That's all right. Prices have come down much cheaper in theory with economics in a roboticized economy. So what kind of jobs are you going to be working? Well, low-skilled or no-skilled, but I also call it the vanity industry. And you say, well, what's vanity? Well, robots can't do everything, and humans are humans. Humans like to be doted on and interact with other humans. They like the human touch. So these are going to be things like waiters. Right? I know we all, $15 an hour, wait till the robots replace you and computers replace you. There are some places where you still like to have a human serve you. And there's an element of, not condescension, master-slave, serf, kind of, I don't really like it, but that's kind of what it is, where it's like, some people just get the joy of having another human serve them. Like, and this is why I tip well. I mean, if the service is good, because I'm like, they're. But let's say this person is completely not necessary. Waiters and waitresses are completely obsoleted. They'll still be in there because there's a group of people that want to be served by humans. Masseuse, massage parlors, for the ladies with your manicures and pedicures. I don't think you're going to want a robot doing that. You're still going to want that human touch, the interaction, someone serving you a glass of mimosa or whatever. The bartender. You don't want to go to the bar and talk to a robot. You want to talk to Steve or Ben or Phil or Sarah. You say, hey, how you guys doing? And you shoot the shit. You want that classical Sam Malone human interaction. So these are the not terribly skilled lower tier, lower half of employment that are not going to go away. The real issue, though, is one of ego. Okay? The issue is, are you going to be okay working at one of these low-level jobs to get by? Because as we approach that asymptote, a higher and higher percentage of the population is going to be in the lower tier. It could get to be the point where there's only 10% of the people that actually do the maintenance of the roboticized industry, and 90% of the people are employed in the lower, no-skilled caste or class. And again, I don't want low skill meaning skill level, not lowbrow bad people. I'm not saying you could be the smartest, most genius person. Why would I become a doctor? Everything's practically for free. I'm going to go work as a surfboard instructor. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. But anyway, the point is whether 90% of the population can abide by the fact that you're just going to work this boring ho-hum job. And given the amount of brainwashing and the amount of ass-kissing and brown-nosing and ego inflation that we've given not just the boomers, but increasingly more as the generations have got younger, Gen X and now the millennials, and God help us what's coming after the millennials, is the sense of entitlement, not just to income, but to grandiosity, to being unique, to being special. Right? No one points out that there's 7 billion people on the planet and very few people are special. Not everyone can be special. No, not everyone can be special. Unless you do something great, not everyone can be special. But we mislead all these people to have this bubble of ego, an esteem bubble, a self-importance of worth bubble, thinking that they're entitled to become doctors, something more grandiose, a title, Secretary of State, President, something like that, when there's no call for it. And on top of it, they're too damn lazy to actually go and become a surgeon, to become a mechanical engineer, to become a computer programmer, to put in that time, effort, and labor. And that is where I think the real rub will come. Because if you can understand, hey, wait a minute, you know, the whole point of having robots do the hard lifting for us is so that I can do an easy, you know, lax job. That's cool. If you know, and then I can live off of this easy lax job. I'm a waiter. Now look, everyone's like, waiting is hard. Waiting. I know. I'm just saying, it's not like you're drilling holes in the center of the earth. Okay, it's whether or not the way we bring up kids, you got to go to college, you by God, the places you will go, and all this other lies and propagandist, self-bloviating crap we feed these kids' mind with. If you can accept that your lot in life, 95% of the people are just going to be basically the servant class. You are going to serve other people, which is all economics ever is. I don't mean to sound like you're a slave servant or an indentured servitude. Everybody serves other humans. I am serving other humans right now, providing some modicum of entertainment and education. Anyway, so that is where I think the real risk is going to happen. Now, keeping that in mind, if we get people to say, okay, yeah, this is our lot in life, you know, and you can at any time, you could go join the elite group. Ain't nobody stopping you. You could go study computer engineering or robotics and go ahead and do it. But if you're too lazy to do it, just admit it and say, no, if we could get to that level of intellectual honesty, the argument for a basic income goes away. Because again, in theory, I haven't reached there yet, but in theory, you would be working some token job. You make your $10,000. That would allow you to buy a car that came fresh off the assembly line with no United Auto Worker Union, and the price of a car is now $3,000 for a brand new Ferrari, in theory again. And then you go on your vacation or whatever else it is. You go write your book. You do something on the internet. I mean, it is a very nice and luxurious life, and you don't need basic income to do it. All right? Now, the other thing, and I do want to point this out. Well, let's conclude the previous. So, try to think through it that way. Okay? If you're willing to accept that you're not going to have, you know, you're not going to be corporate executive Steve, and that if you can get rid of your ego and not worry about that, you have to realize that the roboticized economy, the automated economy, does not threaten your job. It presents a much better, easier, more relaxed future. It's whether or not you can accept that you're not going to be doing anything grandiose. Unless, of course, you can always do a hobby. You can write. You can be an artist. I mean, it frees up humanity to go and pursue the most wonderful things possible. So, I mean, it is you want the roboticized economy. Again, it's just whether your ego can handle it, that you're not going to, especially the women. Oh, my God, you broads. I'm going to get my master's in women's psychology. I'm going to go become a social worker, and I have a job. I tell you I have a job, and I tell you I have a master's. Yeah, we heard you the 40th freaking time already, and I think they're going to have a hard time adapting that they're basically, you're still a janitor. You're still, no matter what, they won't be able to swallow their ego and pride. But those of us who are sweeping as janitors. Then we go smoke some nice cigars. We just enjoy life. But I think those women with the... I went to Cornell! Where's Cornell? What the fuck is Cornell? I ran into a gal. She lived off her dad, and she had her master's in some worthless liberal arts crap, and she kept bragging about how she went to Cornell. I'm like, that has nothing to do with your success. What are you doing now for work? Anyway. So do not fret the roboticized economy, but realize this is the real world. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to be a good thing. You just have to get rid of the ego and the pride. That's pride fucking with your son. Name that movie. Anyway. Now, the other thing is the basic guaranteed income. And look, guys, here's we already have basic guaranteed income. It's called welfare and all these other social programs. And I am actually for basic guaranteed income if we got rid of all the other crap. And the reason why is that not only would more people and more money get into more people's hands, it would save the taxpayers like a good half of what they're paying right now, because very little, well, not very little, but nowhere near the amount of money that is, quote, spent on all these social programs actually gets into the hands of people. What was it, $61,000 a year per poor family is spent? Yeah, but they don't get that $61,000 a year. So not only does it already exist in a very and horribly inefficient system through all these different state, federal, local, I say you fire them all. We give you guys a basic guaranteed income, and then you shut the fuck up. You don't get no help. There's your income. There it is. There's your check for $35,000. Now you go forward everything. You go. No, we're not giving you health care. No, you got to do that. No, we're not giving you education. You got to daycare. Nope, you got to figure that out. That would just save so much on the overhead and get rid of and consolidate so many programs. So there is that argument. So in that regard, I am for a basic income, that we get rid of all the other social programs, and then you'd have basic care. And you know what? It'd be win-win. The taxpayers would save money, and then the quote poor people would actually get a lot more money in return. But let's just keep voting for Democrats anyway, because they need to employ their labor union buddies, and we got to employ all those women who got their degrees in social work, right? They have their masters in social work, and they got to pay back their student loans. And we need to give them pensions and free daycare for single mommies and all that. You need to pay more, and we don't want to. But on a moral, principled, philosophical argument, I'm against the basic guaranteed income. And the reason why is not only is it immoral, you're parasites, you are taking other people's lives away from them. I had to work to build up that money. Now you are taking it away from me. That is not an opinion. And you could say, well, you owe it to society. Those arguments you can make all you want. It does not change the fact that it is parasitical. Okay, let's be very clear. You are living off of other people. So that's one reason I'm against the basic guaranteed income. And the other thing is that the basic guaranteed income is just going to knock out, it's another two things. One, nobody would really work. You're not going to have even the second tier class. You'd be like, fuck it. And you might have some engineers and doctors say, what? I get free money. I just have to exist. Why would I go to college? So you're going to just destroy the labor market. We already see that with the labor force participation rate being 40-year low right now, because again, we have an effective basic guaranteed income. And then what was the other thing? Humans have this nasty habit of breeding right up to the point where they have enough children that they're almost depleting all the resources. And what's going to happen, you see this with the trailer trash, the immigrants from Somalia and Ethiopia. I'm sorry, guys, it's true. You come here, you have way too many damn kids. And that's not me saying, I'm worried about demographics. You come here, you're in the greatest country, and then you have the number one thing that causes poverty, and that is children. And now, in Somalia, the actual country, in Ethiopia, Eastern Africa, the children per woman is like 7.5, and they come in, they have a couple less, but dude, without like an adequate, look, if you're not making $100,000, don't have 5 kids. Just saying. Trying to help you here, okay? And this doesn't have nothing to do with Somalis in Ethiopia. It has more to do with culture. Go to Wyoming. Not a lot of Somalis out there. You want to see the white version of it, just go to Evansville. It's a suburb of Casper, Wyoming. These girls spit out kids. And surprise, surprise, they all live in trailers and they're all piss poor. Stupid people will outbreed the smart ones, and they will breed to the point that they put themselves in poverty. So you could give someone $100,000 a year, you give them 150. There are people that will keep spitting out kids until that budget is strained. And then this leads into genuine demographic problems where it has nothing to do with the race or the type of people. It has to do with the culture of people that keep breeding more and more and more. It's idiocracy, basically, where that generation will then have themselves another 5 ghetto trailer trash type of kids, and then they'll get pregnant at 13 and 14. It keeps going on and on and on. And soon that forget the automated economy. There's not enough people who are educated or got the work ethic enough to go become engineers and the doctors to become the high-tiered or highly skilled labor tier. And none of them got the work incentive to go become low-skilled labor tier because, hey, we got a basic guaranteed income. So down the road, that becomes not feasible because it's mold theory. Basically, I came up with this a long time ago. You got a piece of bread that's got a little bit of mold on it. And you say, well, how do we solve that? Well, you cut out the mold. You cut it away from its source of food, the other bread, and you let it burn out and die. You don't let it procreate. And then you still have good bread. The liberals' idea, the leftist idea, is basic guaranteed income. More bread, more money, more resources. You're just adding fuel to more mold, and more mold will beget more mold. Soon you have so much mold that there's no real economy, no real production, no real bread going on anymore. I know, that's harsh, it's horrible, I know, but this is, I don't care. It's true. This is reality. You know, I don't have kids for a damn good reason. For damn good reasons. This is one of them. There's too much mold and not enough bread. And if you want to have a future that is feasible, especially for those of you who like breeding, you have to think about the future. You have to think about this type of stuff. Now, anyway, getting back to the basic guaranteed income, that is the problem you're going to face is mold theory. You're just going to have people breeding, living off of this up to the maximum amount, which then the next generation is going to require more basic guaranteed income to the point the automated economy, no matter how efficient, will not be able to generate the production necessary to feed all those mouths. I know you don't like that because you never studied economics. You don't have a spine to say things that are true and factual. I know you might hurt people's feelings, and again, I understand. They might call you a name. They might say you're a bad person. You're a mean person, Aaron Clare. You're very mean. And then you go, oh, someone said a bad thing about me on there. I know most people don't have that much of a spine, but so. Anyway, hope we learned a little bit about basic guaranteed income, automated economy, automated truck drivers, and how it can be a good thing, and why basic guaranteed income is just a death knell for the future of humanity. But, if you want to be lied to, there's a Democrat politician who will tell you whatever you want to hear. And they'll give you the most outlandish lies to believe that you deserve that money, So, anyway, best of luck to all of you. Toodles.